Howdy doody, everybody. Thank you for being here. You are here early. Good job. This is the Canary Cry News Talk live stream, pre-stream. I gotta say, Jackson Ung and Oxfish, you both got first comment of the day. It was incredible. It happened at the exact same time. There's no way to tell. I reviewed the slow motion footage. Impossible, but you did it. Good job. Thanks for being here, everybody. You're tuning in over on Twitter and YouTube and DLive and Twitch and Facebook. Even Facebook made it. That's incredible. Good job, guys. Well, we got a great show for you today. For a second, we're just going to take a breather. Everybody take a deep breath. We're all very excited for the show. We're starting later than expected, but that's okay because it's going to be amazing. And make sure that you follow us on more than one outlet. YouTubers, you will be, as usual, receiving just half of the show today. But we'll give you a little signal. We'll give you a warning, and when the time comes, you can switch over to one of our many other live stream outlets. We do this not for any other reason besides it is the only way. Well, we have no choice. YouTube has made the choice for us. We cover things that are just too hot for YouTube. So go to CanaryCry.Party. That's CanaryCry.Party. It's a real URL. If you have trouble, try typing in http://CanaryCry.Party. And over there, you can find all of our streaming locations. You can also find all sorts of great resources, the communities of various platforms, and you can also become a producer in a variety of ways as well. I do want to remind everybody, if you missed the supply drop sign up in February and January, you should still consider becoming a producer over there at the supply drop, because Gonz has had his little crypto fingers at work, working on providing some digital supply drop items, which will be available to people who sign up to the supply drop this month. So go to CanaryCry.Supply.com. Because when you become a producer in a recurring fashion like that, it really helps fill the gaps in producership that can happen a couple times a month. Today is one of those times, but if you go sign up, it'll really help us stay fresh, stay consistent, stay healthy in those moments of lullity is a word that I just invented. So there you go. I'm just now clicking send on the text message list. So if you're here now, you have nothing to fear. But think if you weren't here now, you would really appreciate a text message to your phone letting you know. Okay, well, I'm being told that I'm done. We got to start the show. So here we go, folks. Stay hydrated. Buckle your seatbelts. Let's go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today, we are live to tape on March 11th, 2022. This is episode 457. And today, Sensanctional Joe. And razzle dazzle, I'm your best buddy Basil.
And this is a very flustered Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. Basil, my Pomodoro window has disappeared. I have no way of keeping track of time today.
Oh, no.
So you are our clock. Thank you very much.
Oh, great. That's not good, Gonz. People already send me angry emails that I'm trying to keep us on task and on time. So, well, at least now everybody knows. Gonz wants me to keep us on time, folks. All right? Not some whip cracker. But that's a little bit off topic, Gonz. I want to welcome all the new listeners to the show. Perhaps you've never heard the show, or maybe you've seen some clips, or maybe you've, I don't know, maybe you've tried listening before and it was just too weird. Well, I'm glad you're giving us a try today. And just want to give you some encouragement. It might be a little bit, we're not quite sort of like an NPR style podcast, not quite one of your tidy, polished, mainstream attempts at independent media. No, this is true independent media, and we're glad you're here. So stick around, and you'll feel like a part of the family any moment now. Just any moment now. Keep watching the clock.
Well, this jingle might draw you in.
Fight for Ukraine. New world order.
That's right. We're going to start out with our lead stories. And of course, it's about Ukraine. Today, I'm going to bring a story here from the Wall Street Journal. And, it's been really fun reading the Wall Street Journal because a lot of the mainstream media who over the course of 2021 and a little bit of 2022, it's become fashionable to admit that we can criticize Joe Biden. And in fact, we should criticize Joe Biden. But because of the Ukraine-Russia thing, in part, thanks to our good friend over at CNN, Chris Shilzilla, and others, this sort of Biden bounce back has been lurking in the background. I'm not worried about it. Nobody's worried about it. It's weak. It's old. It's crotchety. It can barely remember its name most of the time. But
Zombie Joe, he's coming back.
This idea of about Biden bounce back is sort of looming. However, the Wall Street Journal is not buying it. The Wall Street Journal is very fun if you're looking for a news outlet who is not falling to the sort of trap of about Biden bounce back. And here's an example. This is from Kimberly A. Strassel, which we've read before. So let's see what she has to say. The headline is Biden is failing the sanctions test. Did you know there was a sanctions test, Gonz?
Nope.
Here we go. Friday afternoon news dumps are always revealing. And that includes last week's Treasury Department clarification of U.S. sanctions on Russian banks. Don't buy the Biden administration's line that it's pulling out the stops against Russia. Oh, I thought that was going to be a question. No, just a statement. Don't buy it. The president continues to insist he's, quote, enforcing the most significant package of economic sanctions in history against Vladimir Putin's regime. Some Biden loyalists are even veering toward hagiography. Connecticut's Chris Murphy bragged last week at the Senate floor that Mr. Biden's stunning diplomacy had produced, quote, a sanctions package that is sweeping, that is unprecedented, that is breaking the back of the Russian economy. The press nods along.
The press nods along.
Yeah, I know. It's great, isn't it? And this is really what we've heard, even on some quote unquote independent sort of analysis shows and other media properties that I like to pay attention to, whether to just understand the broader, I guess, attitudes, or sometimes there's good information there, but it's more for analysis purposes. They've really caught on to this idea that these sanctions are just, apocalyptic. And Wall Street Journal's here to talk a little bit about that. The reality is far different. which accounts for rising frustration in Congress and growing divisions between even Democrats and the White House. The administration refused to impose sanctions in the lead up to Mr. Putin's invasion, naively trusting diplomacy. Yet even after Russian tanks rolled and despite having months to prepare, the response has been slow, timid, hostage to feel-good, quote, multilateralism, and unwilling to attack the real engine of the Russian economy, energy. Even the president's own party is losing patience with his inadequate actions. Consider that Treasury announcement. In late February, Mr. Biden grandly announced sanctions targeting Russian banks. Yet on Friday, Treasury quietly clarified that the sanctions won't apply to the banks' energy transactions until June 24th. Meaning Wall Street can continue to trade in Russian oil and gas. Quote, the energy sector of the Russian Federation economy itself is not subject to comprehensive sanctions, explained Treasury's website, a scandalous caveat the media largely ignored. Scandalous, Gonz. So they're just real quick. Some of these sanctions, for instance, the Wall Street and Russian energy sanctions, don't take effect for like 3 months, maybe more.
Yeah, there's a wind down period and all that.
Yeah, a 3-month wind down period, which is hilarious because, I've gone back and forth on this sanctions thing because the first time around, we're like, sanctions? Really? That sounds lame. What a weak response or whatever. Not that we are pro U.S. military engagement. It's just like, okay, big sanctions guy over here. And then I kind of turned on it, with some of the sanctions affecting Russian people, citizens, more than anything, and kind of driving a stake into the heart of the Western lifestyle that Russians have enjoyed for quite a long time. And now I'm kind of going back to the other side, which is like, yeah, I guess your sanctions are cool, but if they don't take effect for months, you're literally just continuing to fuel the Russian war machine while saying that you're not, while there's Russian boots on the ground and like bombs blowing up and stuff. Like, yeah, we're helping the Ukrainian people, but nothing will actually change for another 3 months. Good luck. Keep your head down, Dmitry, or whatever. It goes on. Senator Rob Portman on Tuesday asked Undersecretary of State Victoria Nuland to justify the decision to give the Russian energy sector a pass for 4 months. She explained that working multilaterally remained the top priority. So we did agree to a phase-in at the behest of energy-dependent European allies. Mr. Biden this week belatedly announced a ban on Russian oil and gas, but only because, and this was news to me, Gonz, but only because congressional Democrats and Republicans were uniting to pass legislation forcing his hand. Even Speaker Nancy Pelosi supported the ban and reportedly refused to agree to a White House demand to drop it. The Biden team scrambled to get ahead of Congress by announcing the embargo itself. So there's a couple of layers to this. First of all, Biden came out and made a big deal about how he's doing the sanctions. He's single-handedly crippling the Russian economy. But I'm learning now that it's only because Congress was already going to circumvent him and do it without his permission, which he did not enjoy very much. So it was really a political move for him to get out in front of it and try to look like a big tough guy.
It's classic Joe bully, cutting in line.
He does it all the time.
Yeah.
It is a cutting in line. That's exactly what it is. Resisting what needs to be done until the very last second and then swooping in and taking credit for it. After it's going to happen anyways. And I think another layer to this is if it was seen that Democrats and Republicans together united to circumvent Biden, that's even worse politically for him.
Yeah,
he's supposed to be the leader of the Democrat Party. And, if his people are going behind his back and working with the enemy to unite to strike a blow at Russia, then that's not a good look. It just looks like he's taking too many naps or something. The White House has also demanded congressional Democrats stand down.
He's got a slow response there.
That's okay. White House has also demanded congressional Democrats stand down a bipartisan bill that would suspend Russia's preferential trading status with the U.S., again, seemingly in order to discuss it to death with Europe. The good news is that lawmakers in both parties said late this week that they remain undeterred and may pass the trade restrictions next week, potentially forcing Biden's hand again. And this has a fun little update, Gonz. Because just posted today, so just for review, Russia has this trading status called most favorable partner or something. And Congress, again, was going behind his back to change their trade status. Biden told them to stand down. And yet today, the AP News is reporting, I did not throw this link in there, Gonz, because I'm just going to read one paragraph. Here we go. AP News today. In Washington, President Joe Biden announced the U.S. will dramatically downgrade its trade status with Russia as punishment for its invasion and also ban imports of Russian seafood, alcohol, and diamonds.
Ooh, diamonds.
The move to revoke most favored nation status for Russia was taken in coordination with the European Union and Group of 7 countries. So Wall Street Journal reported yesterday that, Congress is going to go behind his back again and do stuff that he refuses to do. And then literally the next day, he jumps in line again and just does it. So, he's kind of just responding to what Congress is threatening him with. He is not some economic genius and tough guy. He's only taking action at the last second when his hand is forced, basically. He has not done one sanctions action that Congress did not already have in action that would have happened without him. So, it's kind of gross, especially because all the reporting for the past 2 weeks is like, the Biden bounce back. 70% of people think he's a good, tough president and is doing what needs to be done. And now it's just like, he seems like the wimpiest guy ever. I mean, I'm not trying to just be mean to Biden. I'm just saying the facts show that he is not doing anything on his own. He's like being bullied by Congress.
Give me a break. Wrote the bill.
Yeah. So that's the long and short of it. I mean, there's a couple other fun examples of the White House continuing to resist taking actual sanctions.
It's kind of sad, really, to watch. Sad in one sense, but also maybe deserving in terms of having a Biden presidency. I feel like this was going to happen.
It's exactly what was going to happen.
By bringing both sides together. I mean, he did it, except he's being left out.
He's like a slow, you know what it is? It's like when you're on the highway and there's a slow car in the fast lane and 10 cars pile up behind the slow car. And suddenly the 10 cars behind the slow car are best friends and they start working together and they are when finally they find a moment to pass the slow car, they're all just like, we did it. Yeah, we're free. We're past the slow guy. At least maybe that's just sort of my inner emotional monologue when I'm in one of those situations. But that's what it feels like. It's like Biden's going so slow that no matter who you are in Congress, you're happy to be passing him up. But Biden, using the same metaphor, is that slow car that only notices he's going slow when everybody passes him or starts passing him. So then he speeds up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. That's just who he is as a person.
He's done a lot, Basil, for the country.
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
He's busy, man. He's a busy man. He can't be bothered with this Ukraine nonsense and sanctions.
So that's Sensanctional Joe for you. He's having a good time, but he doesn't like doing it, apparently. I mean, and considering how many sort of family and friends of him have business interests in Russia and Ukraine, it makes more sense than anything that he would be dragging his feet, you know? He's got his family and his friends kind of
they rely. They probably have a financial reliance on some of these established relationships. Dad,
you're really costing me some money, man. Wait on those sanctions. Okay, son, I'll wait as long as I can. And then he does. So there you go. That's kind of the setting the stage for our next couple.
Maybe that's why he whispers a lot. He's whispering to, like, if we just isolate the whisper, he's whispering to the Russians that have dealings with his family. You know, on one hand, he's like, sanctions, we're choking out Russia. And then on the other hand,
pay them more.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He's the ultimate lizard person politician.
Yeah. Well, speaking of lizard person politicians, well, kind of not really, but sort of. Lizard person, I guess. There's a couple headlines here and stories that I wanted to highlight here because it's pretty funny. It relates to the Russia-Ukraine crisis and the cancel Russia thing. This is Reuters. Came out yesterday, March 10th. And the headline is Facebook allows war posts urging violence against Russian invaders. So, Meta platforms, Facebook, will allow Facebook and Instagram users in some countries to call for violence against Russians and Russian soldiers in the context of the Ukraine invasion, according to internal emails seen by Reuters on Tuesday, in a temporary change to its hate speech policy.
I see.
Yeah. Okay. The social media company is also temporarily allowing some posts that call for death to Russian President Vladimir Putin or Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, according to internet emails to its consent moderators. Quote,
only those two,
Only those two. Isn't that
weird.
Crazy?
Yeah.
This is insanity. It's like, okay, well, and we'll get to why in a moment here.
Speech and calling for violence is illegal but we can pick and choose who you can threaten the lives of.
Yeah, this is madness.
It's surprising, but it's not that surprising.
Not that surprising.
Because that's exactly what happened to Trump, too.
Yeah.
You know, you were allowed to say all sorts of nasty things you want to do to Trump.
Yeah, but they didn't have a headline saying like, well, Instagram and Facebook says in an internal document, quote, as a result of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, we have temporarily made allowance for forms of political expression that would normally violate our rules, like violent speech, such as death to the Russian invaders. We still won't allow credible calls for violence against Russian civilians, a Meta spokesperson said in a statement. Well, good luck parsing that out.
And look, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to say death to Russian invaders. Right. I'm just really baffled by the fact that they think that they can sort of moderate that granularly.
Yeah.
You know,
they can control the behavior.
We don't believe in speech that may inspire violence unless it's against people we want violence to be done to.
Then it's okay. But also, we will put a nuanced caveat in there. Not against Russian civilians.
It is so weird.
It's very bizarre.
Yeah. So, which is, again, how do you distinguish that? If a post says death to Russians, you know, perhaps the poster means death to the Russian soldiers. Yeah. But how does a moderator decide that? And how does a different reader be like, oh, they mean soldiers, not nobody's posting death to Russian civilians. That is so weird.
Well, you never know. The calls for the leader's death will be allowed unless they contain other targets or have two indicators of credibility, such as the location or method, one email said in a recent change to the company's rules on violence and incitement. Citing the Reuters story, Russia's embassy in the United States demanded that Washington stop the extremist activities of Meta. Users of Facebook and Instagram did not give the owners of these platforms the right to determine the criteria of truth and pit nations against each other, the embassy said on Twitter in a message that was also shared by their India office. The temporary policy changes on calls for violence to Russian soldiers apply to Armenia, Azerbaijan, Estonia, Georgia, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Slovenia, Ukraine, according to one email. Okay, so
that is funny because that's also, it's kind of like
it's a UN thing too.
It's like that's our word thing. You can't say death to Russians, you Americans, but we're Latvians.
Yeah.
We can say death to Russians.
We're closer to the situation. This is our thing. Yeah.
That is so bizarre.
But I think this recent headline gives light into why Facebook was like, yeah, go ahead, hang Putin posts galore,
Okay,
and
okay.
I think it has to do with this story right here, which, oh my gosh, did I lose the story? Oh no,
don't lose the story.
It's okay, I have it here. It is from Forbes, and the headline here is, as I pull it up. No, not Reuters. Oh my gosh. Oh no, did I?
No, Reuters is the one that's been in there. Oh, it is linked wrong.
It's linked wrong. No. No.
Oh no.
Hold on. Let me see if I can find it here.
Well, why don't you find it? I mean, the long and short of it. I don't want to give away the long and short of it, but I will say, on the topic of sanctions, Putin has been doing his own sanctions and his own sort of, what is it? Info control, of course, as he's famous for, and, as famous as any other head of state in some major country. And we'll get into that at the end of the segment here.
All right, so here it is. This is MSN. This is mirroring Forbes. The headline: Instagram, Facebook bans will cost Meta nearly $2 billion in revenue. Russia's crackdown on Instagram and Facebook will produce $1 billion hit on their parent company's revenue, an unexpected loss that will compound some concerns about Meta's sales. Russia accounts for 1.5% of Meta's advertising dollars. Chief Financial Officer David Wenner said Thursday at the Morgan Stanley conference. Last year, Meta pulled in $114.9 billion in sales, with Russia accounting for $1.7 billion, based on Wenner's comments. That works out to about $4.7 million lost per day.
Oof.
The Kremlin on Friday announced it would begin restricting Instagram 3 days from now, the latest escalation in a conflict between Putin regime and Meta following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Russia also said it would officially categorize Meta as an extremist organization. Wow.
Wait, Putin said Facebook is an extremist organization?
Russia is labeling Facebook an extremist organization. This closely follows Meta's decision to apply warning labels to Russian state media agencies on Instagram, as it had previously done on Facebook, and an additional move by the social network to allow some calls for violence against Russia to be published on its site. An unusual move by the company after several years of criticism over its handling of outrage speech. Yeah, I'm sure the author of this article kind of tongue-in-cheek, we kind of know why they did that. This $2 billion hit to their revenue stream is kind of
that's exactly right.
And down with Putin.
That is Facebook. I mean, you consider Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg sort of their own tentacle of the elite control mechanism, of course. And we have, the new world order versus the old world order, as it's been described here with the world against Russia. Yeah. And it's funny because, again, in this similar way that Biden must have his hand forced before he takes action, Facebook is kind of doing the same thing. It's like, oh, you're going to ban us and, cost us $2 billion. Well, fine. We're going to let your neighbors put out death threats for you on our platform.
Talk about unleashing like an internet hive mind, that's like nation state based. It's very,
their claim,
this is crazy.
Their claim to any morality or any moral objectivity is completely out the window.
Oh, totally.
And of course, we knew that was never a real thing, but at least they kept claiming it,
right?
And now they just can't even claim it anymore. It's all warfare.
Yeah.
Something strange is happening, Gonz. The YouTube chat is not making it into the stream.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know why or how that would happen or even what to do about it. So maybe you can poke around at that.
I see one, and it looks like a spam.
Well, why don't you take a look and see what happens? Yeah, you're right. One made it in, but so many are not making it in.
Interesting.
So we're a little bit behind time, but I do want to finish up with this beautiful article over on Wired.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, it's Wired. It's so beautiful. And on the lines, of sanctions, on information wars, on all of this sort of thing, which we've sort of broadly covered in a few different instances so far. This is coming from Wired, and the headline is "The Spectacular Collapse of Putin's Disinformation Machinery." For decades now, Vladimir Putin has slowly, carefully, and stealthily curated online and offline networks of influence. These efforts have borne lucrative fruit, helping Russia become far more influential than a country so corrupt and institutionally fragile had any right to be. Kind of like the U.S. or...
Oh,
I'm going to try to keep those comments. In fact, I'm going to try we should both try to keep our comments.
Okay.
Save them for a little bit, because what that just showed you was a theme that is throughout this entire article. And I'll try to skip as much as I can, but it is just so good. The way that Wired is, talking about the disinformation, the influence, the corruption, the institutionally fragile Russia and Putin, and how they're so mean and, use different tactics to control information. And the whole time you're just like, okay, the U.S. does that. Okay, Facebook does that. Okay, the CIA does that. Okay, these are all things we do literally every day in this country.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. The Kremlin and its proxies had economic holdings across Europe and Africa that would shame some of the smaller 18th century empires. Okay. It had a vast network of useful idiots that it helped get elected and could count on for support. And it controlled much of the day-to-day narrative.
I'm getting triggered. Go ahead.
Day-to-day narrative in multiple countries through online disinformation. And many people had no idea. The day-to-day narrative in multiple countries. While a few big events like the U.S. 2016 election and the UK's Brexit helped bring this meddling to light, again, they are operating under the assumption that the Russian disinformation ruined our election, the Steele dossier, the Russiagate. They're not referring to it in any other terms. They're just saying, oh yeah, Russia. Many remained unaware or unwilling to accept that Putin's disinformation machine was influencing them on a wide range of issues. Small groups of determined activists tried to convince the world that the Kremlin had infiltrated and manipulated economies, politics, and psychology of much of the globe. These warnings were mostly met with silence or even ridicule. Really? Really? You think so? Okay. All that changed the moment Russia boots touched Ukrainian soil.
Oh, please.
Almost overnight, the Western world became overwhelmingly aware of the Kremlin's activities in these fields, shattering the illusions that allowed Putin's alternative, Kremlin-controlled information ecosystem to exist outside its borders. As a result, the sophisticated disinformation machinery Putin spent decades cultivating collapsed within days. Must not have been that impressive if it collapsed within days, but okay. Russia's network of influence was as complex as it was sprawling. The Kremlin has spent millions in terms of dollars and hours in Europe alone, nurturing and fostering the populist right, Italy, Hungary, and Slovenia, the far right in Austria, France, and Slovakia, and even the far left, Cyprus, Greece, and Germany. For years, elected politicians in these and other countries have been standing up for Russia's interests and defending Russia's transgressions, often peddling Putin's narratives in the process. Meanwhile, on televisions, computers, and mobile screens across the globe, Kremlin-run media such as RT, Sputnik, and a host of aligned blogs and, quote, news websites help spread an alternative view of the real world. An alternative is put in italics there. I'm assuming to make reference to alternative facts from the 2016 election. Though often marginal in terms of reach and of themselves, which with some notable exceptions, such as Sputnik Mundo. Oh my gosh. My brain is frying. They performed a key role in spreading disinformation to audiences in and outside of Russia. Yeah, sounds familiar. But the digital realm is where Russia found its most success. And it talks about how Russia caused the anti-vax movement. Russia caused QAnon. Russia, is responsible for conspiracy theorists, quacks, and pranksters. All these things already existed, but were the preserve of conspiracy theorists, quacks, and pranksters. Now millions believe in the face reality that climate change was made up by green extremists. Then they go into Bill Gates, George Soros, World Economic Forum are using vaccines to microchip people. And there's a satanic cabal of baby eaters in Washington.
Woo!
Or all of the above.
Yeah.
So what I love about this, again, as Wired is attempting to sort of deconstruct the Russian propaganda, as usual, they get it all wrong. I mean,
Really?
You talk about either they get it all wrong on accident because they haven't actually done their research and they're just parroting talking points that have been in the media for, years, or they're on purpose getting it wrong because they don't want to refer to the true theories that they can't disprove. So, climate change was made up by green extremists. Nobody thinks that. I mean, when you talk about even conspiracy theorists, they don't say, "Oh, climate change was made up by green extremists." No, it's being used as a financial tool to usher in a new version of economics and geopolitics. That has a constant and unbeatable enemy. And when I say that, I'm talking about the Great Reset, and things like it by the World Economic Forum. And then they're talking about Bill Gates, George Soros, and the World Economic Forum using vaccines to microchip people. Come on. The microchip thing is a caricaturization that, the microchip theory is it's not even debunked. That's not the issue. It's that is not even the depth of the thing. It's not even a true representation of the theory. And then, of course, satanic cabal of baby eaters in Washington. Yeah, it's not just Washington, and they don't eat the whole baby. Come on, you know this.
They just drink the blood.
Yeah, it's just the blood. It's not the whole baby. Critically, the Kremlin seem to understand that while our online worlds are a key part of us, we behave differently there because it taps into our magical thinking. It is real and unreal at the same time.
Ah, yes.
We troll each other, scream at each other, and produce millions of hours of ever weirder porn. Okay, Wired, a weird thing to add in there.
Yeah,
but I
that's
guess
weird.
you're Wired. You have to be like edgy. All because that world is slightly unreal. Few of us would do any of those things, IRL, yet it is our real life. And the things we do online all have impacts, both positive and negative, on our psyche. The same holds true for disinformation. Our screens open up something akin to our spirituality. And from there, we can make wild leaps of faith as to what is and isn't real that translate from online to our offline thinking. Now, I do think this is the one paragraph which I do find compelling. I mean, it's crazy for Wired to be sort of talking in these terms, and with how poorly they've done with the rest of this article, I don't think this is very well done either. But they are realizing that there is true
consequence,
a true depth to the information online. Now, this idea that it is both real and unreal is, I think they're completely wrong. I mean, at this point, what is it, 1999? Oh, the online world isn't the real world. No, everything that happens online is real, and nobody considers it not real.
Yeah,
but
well,
you know,
it does kind of redefine the word real in some sense, because, you know, a social media post really happened, but it didn't like really do anything. But
it's no different. It's no different from, you know, I mean, I'm talking about the 1999 world where all of us kids were online playing games and chatting on AOL Messenger or whatever. And our parents were like, why you spend so much time on there? That's just an imaginary world.
Yeah,
and it's not like that anymore.
No, it wasn't like that then either, really.
The internet is the internet is the real world.
Yeah.
I mean,
or a reflection of it.
No, what I mean is there's no separation between the internet and the real world.
Yeah.
You know, but they are getting into this spirituality.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Idea. And from there, we can make wild leaps of faith. So we're going a little over time, so I'm going to kind of breeze through the rest of it. Long story short, they go through about 50 paragraphs of how, you know, Russia does things that are unforgivable, and yeah, of course, everybody else does it too. But I mean, come on, this is about Russia. We're virtue signaling about Russia.
The golden era for Putin's disinformation program is over. Wired has declared.
Exactly. And they do sum it up with this. Nothing can make up for the senseless loss of life and homes. But if there is anything to celebrate alongside the dogged determination of the Ukrainians in holding the Russian army back, it is this. Putin has himself put to rest the idea that he is some kind of infallible genius. After many decades spent building up his influence, he has entirely destroyed his credibility with politicians, business, and the broader public. In the end, Putin has achieved what no one thought possible: a Ukraine defiant, a West united, and a Russia humbled.
State-sponsored propaganda machinery.
Yeah, I love it. So I think they did a lot of building. I think the one example that really put the nail in the coffin is the fact that it has been proven, the evidence shows, the Steele dossier has been debunked. There are trials, legal things going on. Russiagate was a complete hoax. And hoax is not even the right word. Russiagate was a complete sort of propaganda plan. And look, this is not conspiracy theory. This is reported in mainstream news that was perpetrated and led by Hillary Clinton and her campaign as a way to fight against the Trump administration, which has been completely debunked, again, on mainstream news. This is not conspiracy theory. And yet they're saying that they're giving credit to Putin for things that he never did do. In order to sort of build this edifice that Putin was some sort of mastermind, but then destroyed it himself by his own doing, when in fact it is a coalition of pretty much every nation on Earth, the most powerful politicians and companies and governments working together to dismantle his power. So it wasn't him whoopsie-daisy-ing. It was a concerted, dare I say, conspiracy by those who are holding to the tenets of this new world order that dismantled it. Not saying he's a good guy, not saying he's not a smart guy, not also saying that he's not a dumb guy. I'm just saying Wired's weird propaganda to make us think that he's a genius who who slipped in the shower, basically, is entertaining to read and can give a sense of victory to people who think that the world has been controlled by Russian disinformation, but is ultimately no more than sort of a feel-good puff piece.
I think it's weaponizing people. Mind control.
I think it is too.
Weapons.
And alongside the Meta allowing certain countries to speak death threats over another leader. I mean, come on, this is modern 2022, modern day radicalization taking place. I mean, it's straight up unbelievable. Yeah.
And anybody who says it isn't paying attention, or they are sucked into some.
They just look at history, recent history. It doesn't even have to be ancient history.
Absolutely.
Okay, I know we're behind. I'm going to start. I pulled up the Pomodoro, so I'm going to start it now from the 10-minute mark, right?
Yeah. I can do that too.
Okay, so let me just get that going. And
you want to do it from the first 10-minute mark?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So what are we? Oh, it's Friday, and by the way, I have a couple different Friday jingles that we can play. This the original.
It's Friday, It's Friday, It's Friday. It's Friday,
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, there you go. We can keep playing with the Friday thing.
Then we have this other one. Gonna learn today.
You ain't got no job, and you ain't got
It's Friday, man. Better look out for Debo.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but okay.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, what's Debo?
Oh, well, too bad.
We don't have to get it. Okay. Okay.
Debo's going to beat you up, man, because it's Friday,
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. Is this a Gonz is older than me thing?
Possibly. You've never seen the movie Friday? That this entire jingle reference is from?
Not at an age where it would have been filed away in the cabinet.
Oh, yeah, your parents. Yeah, your parents probably put a fence around that one. But,
yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here we are. It's Friday, end of the week, feeling good. These weeks have been going by in a flash. I can't believe that the week's already over. But any personal updates, Gonzo?
Well, the father-in-law passed away earlier this week, and I thought, drill a hole in my tooth.
Oh,
so went ahead and got my root canal done yesterday.
Oh, yikers.
So, yeah, lots of needles in the mouth there, Novocaine, numb jaw. Actually, the doctor was really, really good, and I didn't
Was it an
anything.
Emergency, or did you have, has this been planned for a while?
I had a filling fall out on one of my molars in the back. Probably like a month ago, and then I'm like, there's no pain yet. I should probably get it checked out. And so my dentist pumped me full of Novocaine, and he's like, you're going to need a root canal. And I'm like, oh, great. And he's like, the guy's available right now if you want to go across the street. And I'm like, okay. So I go over there.
Worst.
I go over there with a numb jaw, and he's like, oh, so you already got some Novocaine? Great. I'm going to pump you full of more. So he started going at it. It was, so.
Oh, my gosh. That is a rough week, my man.
Yeah. But I will say this doctor was really good, and I'm not in as much pain as I thought I would be. I can't really chew on that side of the mouth yet, but he gave me a bunch of ibuprofen, prescribed levels of ibuprofen.
The old 800 mils.
Yeah. So
I've had a root canal. It is not fun. You know, when I think about the root canal, it's actually worse than when I got it. Like imagining what's going on in there and how deep they are and all the scooping and scraping. It's hurting me.
My doctor was really gentle, and he was very soft spoken, and he would tell me what's happening before he does it, but he would make it sound really bad, you know? He'd be like, okay, this is real deep, real hard push.
It's hurting me just thinking about it.
And he would do it, and it wouldn't hurt that bad because I'm completely numb. I don't feel anything. So I'm like, it's not too bad. And then he'll be like, okay, you're going to smell burning and see some Am I torturing you?
Yes, this is very painful for me.
Okay, all right.
But
well, there you go. That was my day yesterday. So
that's a rough day. Yeah. I don't have anything exciting except for the finger that I had sliced with a razor blade.
Yes,
it's healing nicely. It's looking good. It's completely closed up. Not worried about it. Yesterday, which was the first day. Or I guess the second day I had the bandage off. I was doing some manual labor, just completely smashed the same finger. So this finger has had a lot of beatings this week.
Yeah, you should just keep it wrapped.
Yeah, I know. I should
you just turn into a glove man. You know?
I thought about that. I'm
just become a glove guy.
I should just wear like cool armored motorcycle gloves all the time.
Right. Yeah.
It could just be my look, get started on sort of the apocalypse outfit early. And
we always need someone to smash the windows, to get some resources.
Yeah, I get those commercials all the time of like, look at these cool gloves.
Oh, this guy seems like he can use some awesome gloves.
This guy's going to be the algorithms are like, oh, Basil, that googly-eyed guy, he really wants to be able to punch through a car window. So there you go. That's about it. There's one other thing. Oh, you know what? I don't know why. Sorry, YouTube, but your chat is not making it onto the screen, and there's nothing I can do about it.
I didn't want to stop the stream, but I did try to update a couple things to see if the little update thing would help it, but I don't know.
No luck. Yeah. Well, the video's still there, so that's good. And with that, Gonz, we have an executive producer to thank today.
Executive producers.
That's right. We're on the value for value model, which disconnects our well-being and the continuation of this show away from the marketing magicians that rule the world, conjuring consent through advertising and things like that, all for the purposes of corporate profit, deciding the value of independent media, and controlling minds while they're at it. Well, not here, folks. We're on the value for value model, which means we take no corporate money whatsoever, no advertisements, affiliate codes, partnerships, nothing. We are entirely kept going. We're entirely kept alive, literally, by producers of this show who find value in what is expressed here 3 times a week. And when they find value, they put value back in. They recognize that it is a revolutionary act to not rely on corporate sponsorships and things like that to keep their media going. And they become producers. And the very generous and devoted ones become executive and associate executive producers. So they are a big part of the reason that we are able to bring you this show today, which is why I want to thank them now. So today, our executive producer, for whom our gratitude and love is sent right back to them, not just ours, Gonz, but those of other listeners. This is the one. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Sir Sigurd the Beast is executive.
Sir Sigurd the Beast.
Where'd you find this?
So thank you very much, Sir Sigurd the Beast, and to everybody else out there. There's still time to produce the show today. You can head on over to CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
That's right. Still time for someone to share the throne with Sir Sigurd there. Okay. But you know who will not sit on the throne, Gonz?
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right. It's time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. And someday, perhaps we can even be friends. But we use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and just how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, Gonz, I'm taking this Flippy update from Chicago Tribune. And the headline is, would-be chefs can open, quote, restaurants using Mall of India robots to make food for delivery.
Whoa.
There's a lot in there.
Yeah.
I know. There's a lot going on. So let me help you. Nala Robotics, robotic kitchen at Naperville's Mall of India, is letting Michael Chintamaneni fulfill his dream of having a restaurant without having to quit his day job. Chintamaneni's Desi Owl launched in February, but requires no cooks, staff, or physical location. The entrepreneur only needs Indra and Sina, the mall's two robots chefs. Whoops. To prepare his recipes for Indo-Chinese cuisine when ordered by a customer. Quote, for people like me, this would be a great option for those who've always wanted to get into the restaurant business, said Chintamaneni, a manager at the Mall of India. Nala Robotics, the group behind the mall's robotic kitchen, has introduced the Nala Marketplace, quote, cloud kitchen concept. Cloud kitchen, which allows restaurateurs, cooks, chefs to upload recipes to the kitchen's menu database. The food is made to order and delivered to customers, a new twist on the ghost kitchen restaurant concept. Ghost kitchen. Quote, wherever they open Nala Marketplace, I'll be able to do my recipes there. That's the whole concept here, Chintamaneni said. For someone who wants to give it a try, there's a $250 enrollment cost for each location, a monthly licensing fee based on order volume, and payment of a percentage of sales to Nala Robotics. Chintamaneni said his startup costs were less than $1,000. Nala president Ajay Sunkara said Desi Owl may be the first restaurant introduced through Nala Marketplace, but it won't be the last. His hope is to have a new one launched about every month. Quote, it's a platform for anyone from a home chef to a celebrity to someone with a passion for cooking and food to open their own restaurant, Sunkara said. Engineers and culinary experts observe the chef or business owner prepare the meals they want the robots to replicate so they get an idea of what the food looks and tastes like, and to obtain information, better program the robots, which are basically a set of arms with access to ingredients, stoves, and ovens. Menu items are then coded and uploaded to the robotic kitchen database. Sunkara said it can take as long as a day to get the information put into the system, depending on the menu. Desi Owl's menu include fried rice, chicken noodles, chili chicken, and chili paneer. It's up to the restaurant owners to figure out how to market and promote their food offerings to potential customers. Chintamaneni set up a website, social media, third-party delivery app pages with orders delivered by Grubhub, Uber Eats, and DoorDash. Quote, it's their restaurant. What we do is fulfill their orders, Sunkara said. For now, Nala Marketplace is limited to the Mall of India, but Sunkara said locations in Elgin and Chicago will be open in the future. There are also food court restaurants inside the Mall of India where customers can place orders for items made in the robotic kitchen, including One Mean Chicken, Suri Tiffins, and Thai 76. Quote, the beauty of it is once we upload it to a database, we can make the food across the country. Within a matter of seconds, it can go live anywhere, Sunkara said. So there's a lot there, and it wasn't a great written article, and there's some typos in there. And it took me a while to figure out that this is in Chicago and not in India. But it is a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
We've all come in contact with either a company like this or some sort of internet scam trying to help us make a company like this. It's sort of like opening an Amazon store. or something. Where
I was going to say this is like an extension from just all of us having websites, or like a cook or chef having a website with all those recipes to, hey, these machines will make the recipes for you kind of thing.
And it can be, and anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it, yeah.
Yeah, you make the recipe, you upload the recipe, much like, a lot of internet stores don't actually make anything or really handle anything or have a warehouse or anything.
Yeah.
It's just you pay for, some time, and then you market it yourself, but you don't have to cook anything. You don't have to own a location. All you do is just have these robots make the food, and it gets delivered by Grubhub or whatever.
Right.
And because of this, you can have 10 different restaurants all using the same infrastructure.
The same infrastructure, and having different, each one can have its own. You have Chinese food, Desi Owl robots. You can have
the same
hamburger.
robots. Yeah, the same location can make any kind of food depending on the people who are using it as a platform. And this is I think when you think of the future and what the future of food looks like and what the future of restauranting looks like and the future of eating, much how these, the internet has sort of deleted a lot of the obstacles to start your own store. A lot of it is like we could start a store and sell some widgets or whatever.
Yeah.
And just have Amazon fulfill it. And we don't touch anything. We just sort of manage a website and pay for Instagram ads or something. Exactly the same this way. You don't have to touch food, don't have to make food. It's all up to the flippy arms. And all you do is, get some Instagram ads and upload some recipes, and boom. And not only will it, be accessible, will your restaurant be accessible at this one place in the Mall of India, but they could have one of these little robot kitchens on every street corner, and suddenly your recipes and your business, will have 100,000 locations of people purchasing your food.
Consider this.
It's all coming together.
Gordon Ramsay, right?
Yeah.
You walk into a booth, you put on your VR headset, you're met by the metaverse Gordon Ramsay, an AI avatar.
Oh,
you
interact with the metaverse.
You tell him what you want. If there's a menu, he tells you the menu. You tell him what you want, maybe some specific, custom made, whatever, less salt, whatever.
Sure.
And then the robot arms take those specifications, they make it, and the virtual Gordon Ramsay has served you an actual Gordon Ramsay recipe meal to your
delivered to your door.
To your door, or even just right in the metaverse. You're right.
Well,
if it's the metaverse, then you can do it from home. Yeah. You don't even have to walk in.
Food gets delivered to your house.
Yeah.
And you are in a metaverse restaurant
ordering it.
That's
what McDonald's did, the metaverse patents and stuff. I think this is tied to all that, man. It makes sense because it gives the people the perception that you're actually getting official food from somewhere.
And what is right? Yes, mix this with the metaverse, and you're all good.
Yeah.
And what is food service is one of the biggest employment industries, at least in our country.
Yeah.
And again, you got Flippy here saying, "Oh, you don't even need a chef. You don't even need anybody in the kitchen. It's a ghost kitchen.
It's a bunch of."
And it's since the beginning of Flippy, since we've been following Flippy for 5-6 years now, it's always been, Flippy will work with the kitchen. Flippy's there to make the humans' jobs easier, do the drudge work. And we've always said, look, that may be the marketing so that people don't think these robot arms are going to take their jobs, enslave their children, and flirt with their spouses. But this is it. This is turning the corner. A completely robotic kitchen, not even making the food of a single restaurant. In theory,
anybody, really.
Yeah,
you can be branded as anybody.
This restaurant.
Yeah, I'm sure the big chefs will have stations all over the world probably with this kind of thing. So, depending on some probably geographical market research or something like that. Like, oh, we got a big audience here. We can build a couple of these on, a couple of the blocks there, and then it'll deliver the Gordon Ramsay food cooked right there in the robot arm kitchen.
Gordon Ramsay won, or the biggest competitor to famous mean kitchen man Gordon Ramsay, Basil Ramenstein. Ooh, Basil Ramenstein.
And you got me slaving in the kitchen making ramen.
No, I'll get the robots.
Authentic Japanese ramen made by hand.
You could see how not only is this a great opportunity for sort of entrepreneurs who want to, yes, this will give access to like restaurant tourism to people who couldn't afford to start an actual restaurant and don't want to spend their days slaving in the kitchen. But more than anything, it's taking the humans out of the experience. I believe this is such a good idea that this will begin to flourish. Well, I mean, if there's an investment opportunity here, I missed out on the FLIPPY investment. If they take investments for this, I might get involved.
Think about a DAO being built on this, and everybody can have a partial ownership of whatever, branded thing that is able to pump this out. But this is also one step closer to the food synthesizer. Do you remember in Star Trek?
Yeah.
You just say, what you want, and it'll synthesize the food for you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
It's It's
a big step in that direction for sure.
White label ghost kitchen.
Ghost kitchen. Yeah. White label ghost kitchen.
That's what this is. It's pretty impressive, but also terrifying at the same time.
It's kind of scary that we're all going to be eating food from robots.
All robots. And they couldn't have done it without the pandemic. I mean,
and they couldn't have done it without FLIPPY.
We couldn't have done it without.
Uh-oh. Did you freeze, Basil? Uh-oh, I think Basil froze. Oh no. They didn't like us talking about the future of food for humanity. Are you back?
Whoa.
Yeah, you're back, yeah? Hello?
Oh, something is happening.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
I can hear you. Keep going.
Okay. Well, I was just saying some things, but it's okay.
Oh, I couldn't. Hold on. We got some major connection issues.
Yeah, I can tell. Do you want to reconnect?
Are we back? Yeah, are we back live? Are we back to?
I don't think we ever dropped.
Time warp stopped.
I don't think we ever dropped.
We did. You dropped out entirely for me.
Oh, did we stop streaming?
On my side, it got a little scary, but it looks like everything's fine.
Okay, it doesn't look like anything got dropped. So
yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue. That was a technical glitch.
I don't remember what I was talking about now, but
yeah. Well, we should probably just move on.
Yeah. All right. Okay, here we go. Go to CanaryCry.Party. It's a website. You should try it. Find the live stream, email list, text notifications, street team posters, show notes, ways to connect with other Canarians, and how to become a producer.
Welcome to CanaryCry.Party. It's the place you wanna be. So stay. Welcome to CanaryCry. Gameplay, CanaryCry.Party.
That's right. Go check it out. Everything that you could possibly want is there. Where to watch the show, especially you YouTubers. You're only going to get half the show today, but you can catch the whole show by switching over to another platform. You'll find all those platforms there. CanaryCry.Party is a cool place to go. Just a quick plug for Ravel. Go check out Ravel Podcast. It's on all of your podcast players. There's 2 Ravel podcasts. The other one stole our name. Explicitly stole our name, by the way. That's not a conspiracy theory. And it's the cool one with the cool logo and my name on it. We're doing episodes with artists talking about God and technology and all sorts of funky stuff. Go check it out. I also want to plug the Canary Cry Clips channel. Over on YouTube, you can find the Canary Cry Clips channel, youtube.com/CanaryCry Clips. Careable, shareable clips of the show, segment by segment. A great way, the best way to share the show with your friends and family, because they can get the info without being sort of bombarded by all the weird parts of the show, which we love. Yeah, Canary Cry clips. Now, if you go over to, here's the thing, don't just rely on YouTube, because there is also the Canary Cry clips channel on Odysee. So if you go over to Odysee.com, search for Canary Cry clips. I've heard a lot of great stuff about specifically the clips over on Odysee. Odysee is starting to gain some big fans within the Canarium. So, you know, in the long run, in the long arc of history of, you know, YouTube content, video content on the internet, YouTube has shown itself to be some sort of malevolent dark force in human life. So you just want to find another place. Go to Odysee.com/CanaryCry.Clips. I think it's :6 or something. Just search for it over there. You'll find it. Okay, that's it.
All right. Here we go. Hold on.
Oh, by the way, we've got 15 new clips in the hopper. So our last upload batch was 2 days ago, but over the next couple days, we're going to have a ton of new videos coming out on those clips channels. So go follow them.
Russia, Russia, Russia.
Poly. It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood. Now suck
Politics.
your blood.
Money printer go burr.
Of course, money printer go burr. I want to start off with a clip from May 2021. So a little less than a year ago. This is Jen Psaki. Oh, we forgot our Psaki jingle.
Oh, yeah.
And let me see if I can pull it up in a quick stint. Nope, not going to happen.
You got it.
You think so?
Isn't it under circle back?
Yeah, it might be. Hold on, let me try circle back. Let's see how well our little search machine is. Let's see. Not
While you
not
do
doing
that,
great
I'm
so
going
far.
to provide everybody with the Canary Cry clips link in the chat there. Go there, folks.
Why don't I play this clip first, and then we can play the thing.
I will say, as we've said in here before, but we'll reiterate that, of course, we take the possibility of inflation quite seriously. As you know, actions that have been taken to date or proposals that have been made, most economic analysts have believed that it will have a temporary or transitory impact. I will say, as we've said in here before, but we'll reiterate that, of course, we take the possibility of inflation.
Sorry, I think it looped there. But yeah, she says it's going to be transitory.
Yes, remember the good old days.
If there's inflation, you know, they didn't really say that there is inflation, or if, you know, there's going to be inflation. They were like, if there is, it'll be transitory, temporary.
Yeah.
Well,
and we had, she was saying that while we were at like 4% inflation or something.
Yeah. Well, things have gone full circle, I guess, because Jen Psaki is talking about inflation now and blaming a very specific person.
You may have noticed this week that your gas prices have gone up. I want to talk to you a little bit about why. A lot of it has to do with Vladimir Putin. The reality is that Russia is one of the 3 largest oil producers in the world. And the fact that they have started this conflict, invaded a foreign country, and they are such a big producer of oil in the world is the reason why the global oil markets are disturbed right now and why your gas prices are going up. The president's going to do everything he can to bring down the price of gas for the American people. But there are a few facts you should be aware of. U.S. production of oil and gas is rising. In fact, in the first year of the Biden presidency, there was more oil and gas produced in the United States than in the first year of the Trump presidency. And there's opportunities to produce more from here. But part of this is on the oil companies. Right now, there are 9,000 approved unused permits that oil and gas companies could tap into now to ramp up production. So what the president is doing is ensuring we're taking steps here to get more oil out into the global marketplace. That includes the release of 40 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve back in the fall, and he just announced the planned release of an additional 30 million barrels. The only way to protect the United States over the long term is to become energy independent. That's why the president has been so focused on investing in clean energy technologies, so that we can rely on that and not President Putin to set the price of gas.
Yeah.
I love the switcheroo at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, yeah, Biden's pumped more oil than anybody. And there's 9,000 permits for oil companies to drill more. And we're going to do it. Drill, baby, drill. And that's why the Biden administration is investing in renewable energies. What?
I know, very, very sly. It's almost like affirming all the conspiracy theorists who are saying, you guys are using this crisis to like implement some stuff.
Yeah. It's simultaneously a slap in the face of all the eco-democrats that voted for Biden because Trump was going to blow up the world with, fossil fuels and doesn't believe in climate change or whatever. It's bragging about how Biden has pumped more oil than Trump.
Didn't he stop some energy or oil stuff at the beginning of his presidency? I thought he ended some of that, or did he slow it down or something?
It could be any
like
number of things. It's probably just one of his executive orders that didn't do anything. It's just like a commitment to dial back oil or something.
Right.
That's what a lot of his executive orders were. Were just like, I executively order that I promise sometime later I'm going to do something, and then just does the opposite.
Yeah.
Which is why Democrats don't like him. And not even just Democrats, but, the real progressives see him for what he is.
Yeah. Well, I have this here.
It's an interesting question. Circle back. We'll circle back.
And I think there's another one here. Oh, it's a longer version. Here we go.
Circle back. But I'll have to circle back. But I'll have to circle back. But I'll have to circle back. I'm happy to circle back. I'll have to circle back with you. We can circle back on that one. Circle back with you. It's an interesting question, but we'll circle back.
Keeps going.
Okay, that's the full song. Yeah.
Here. I got it. No, I found it just real quick. Let me just show this real quick. ABC from March 23rd, 2021. Explainer: Why is Biden halting federal oil and gas sales? So there you go. He did at least try to halt
federal
oil and gas sales.
Yeah, I don't even know really what that means, but so there you go. We've talked about this way early on in the Ukraine crisis, which is this is an excellent cover-up for the economic bamboozling that's been going on for 2 years.
Yeah.
There is new numbers.
Longer than that.
There's new number, but I mean, I'm talking about
the
Biden.
Dollar printing,
the dollar printing, the COVID relief fund. There's new numbers recently that I have not yet had the time to verify, but there's numbers floating around now that 80% of the dollar of total U.S. dollars, 80% of all existing U.S. dollars have been printed in the past.
Yeah, see, I haven't verified that number either. I know 40% was something I'm pretty sure was an accurate number.
We verified at 40%
last year, right. I know that if, with repo markets and stuff like that, they will print money and then they'll pay it right back the next day to kind of keep themselves solvent, So if you include that money, which is technically, it is being printed, but it's also being spent right away. So it's kind of like, it's not real.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, well, they kind of burn it, because they return it.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Are they setting it on literal fire?
I don't think money printing isn't actual physical paper money printing either. It's just a number in a computer. I know, but it's also just a number in a computer, which, who was it that admitted that a couple years ago on 60 Minutes or something? I forget. But, this whole thing, all of it has the economic implications, and certainly having Jen Psaki be sort of the communicator of the details, you're not going to really get a picture of what's happening. But this Coindesk article that was mirrored on Yahoo Finance gets us into some of the stuff that's been taking place recently as sort of adjacent to the Russia stuff, but I think it has a greater implication for world money and world money order. And so the headline here is Biden's executive order calls for highest urgency on CBDC research and development. So it has finally come. And it says here, U.S. President Joe Biden called for an urgent government-wide focus to be placed on the research and development of a potential central bank digital currency in his executive order signed Wednesday. The order calls for a full-scale assessment of the potential benefits and risks of the CBDC, both for consumers and investors, as well as broader U.S. financial system. Biden has ordered the Treasury Department to spearhead the research and report, with input from other federal agencies, including the Secretary of Commerce and the Secretary of Homeland Security. The assessment is also supposed to determine whether the implementation of a CBDC would be in, quote, the national interest. There are several organizations already researching and piloting CBDCs in the United States, including the Boston Fed, which is partnered with Massachusetts Institute of Technology on CBDC technology, and the Digital Dollar Project, a public-private partnership. It's New World Order talk right there. Founded by consulting firm Accenture and Chris Giancarlo, the former chairman of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. So, yeah. So here we go. He signed an executive order, and it mentions CBDCs, and we're moving in that direction, which is funny because this was something that I noticed in the language of world institutions back in 2016. So kind of the timeline here, 2015, the Pope comes to the United States, speaks at the UN, says, UN 2030 agenda, the Sustainable Development Agenda, we have commenced it, blah, blah, blah. And we were kind of saying, wait a minute, we didn't vote for this. Like, why is this even happening? And then right after that, because the Pope talked about the economy and economic changes and whatever. A year after that, the IMF started sending out memos to different central banks all over the world about CBDCs. And so I have I found a bunch of sources, and I wanted to revisit them because it's something that I had compiled a few years ago, but the Facelikethesun channel is gone, and a lot of the sourcing was in the description there of the videos that I've published in the past. But just to go over a couple of them here. This one is right from IMF.org, International Monetary Fund website. And this is a PDF from that website, IMF Staff Discussion Note, Virtual Currencies and Beyond, Initial Considerations, from back in 2016, I believe was when this document was published. And there's a couple things that I wanted to point out from this, which is of interest. Let's see. Okay, so the first thing here, virtual currencies in principle question the paradigm of state-sponsored fiat currencies and the dominant role that central banks and conventional financial institutions have played in the operation of the financial systems. Virtual currencies are issued without the involvement or backing of a state. And so, they go into this idea of, hey, this stuff is not backed by anything, and we've heard that narrative. Right. Ad nauseum,
as if
really.
we want that to be the case.
Right. Well, the IMF does,
Yeah.
sort of moving that direction. I have another document here, Ben Broadbent, Central Banks and Digital Currencies. It was a speech he did in London, March 2nd, 2016. At the time, he was the Deputy Governor for Monetary Policy of the Bank of England. And so, at the London School of Economics. So, not some random dude here. And they talk about, and he in the speech talks about central banks, central bank digital currencies, what it means. And just a little part here. This is really the main point I want to get across. Some suggest that this is part of his speech. Some suggest that central banks will have to issue their own digital currency, i.e. to supply central bank money more widely via some generalized distributed ledger to meet a quote-unquote competitive threat from private sector rivals, which is like Bitcoin and some of those other cryptocurrencies. I suspect a more important issue for central banks considering such a move will be what it might mean for the funding of banks and the supply of credit. So, the part of the reason why I'm going through this is because there's a level of education that needs to take place with the general public, which is becoming more and more mainstream or normalized, especially when Tucker Carlson's up there making, confused faces and talking about how our money is not backed by anything and, all that kind of stuff. And one more document that I have available, at least in the main part of the show notes, is from the Chicago Journal of International Law, published in 2013, regulating digital currencies, bringing Bitcoin within the reach of the IMF. So this really talks about sort of the end goal, the conclusion, or what they're trying to do, and how they would need to have some kind of digital asset to create or to kind of control something like Bitcoin, which obviously they admit in all these papers and stuff that they don't have any control over. And this paper especially is very interesting because 2013 Bitcoin wasn't that big yet. And they talk about in the paper, like, well, if this continues to become popular, it's going to be a problem because, we're reliant on the ability to issue debt, through credit and all this kind of stuff. If that system goes away, then our fiat currency is worthless. So we better come up with a way to battle this problem that Bitcoin presents, which is that International Monetary Fund central banks become completely obsolete in the form that it is now. So that's what I find very interesting, on top of everything else that's happening with this money New World Order reset thing. And to talk about that, I want to briefly bring up this article here from Money Control, mirrored on MSN.com. And the headline here is U.S. commodity crisis to give rise to new world order, says Credit Suisse's Zoltan Pozsar. Key takeaways. Credit Suisse short-term rate strategist Zoltan Pozsar, a former United States Federal Reserve and U.S. Treasury Department official, in a report said the U.S. is in a commodity crisis, and this will give rise to a new world order that will weaken the U.S. dollar and create higher inflation in the Western world. Here are the key takeaways from his note titled Bretton Woods 3. Now, for those of you who are new to this kind of information, Bretton Woods 1 was back in 1944. It was sort of during wartime. They basically, all these nations came together and said, okay, our currency is going to be based on the gold standard. And gold was represented by the U.S. dollar, and then all the different nations had their currencies pegged to the U.S. dollar, which was pegged to gold. And then in 1971, what many researchers call Bretton Woods 2, right? When we went off the gold standard. So now everybody's pegged to the dollar, which is pegged to gold, but now the dollar is not pegged to gold. So what's the dollar pegged to? Whatever. It doesn't matter. Oil, whatever
debt,
they want.
I think.
Debt,
right?
Yeah. Just all kinds of stuff. And then now we're this person, Credit Suisse guy, is arguing we're in Bretton Woods 3. Very interesting. So here are the key takeaways from his little thing. We are witnessing the birth of Bretton Woods 3, a new world monetary order centered around commodity-based currencies in the East that will likely weaken the euro-dollar system and also contribute to inflationary forces in the West. So this whole Russia financial lockout has, I think, a lot more to do with this than actual Ukraine. And I mean, in terms of commodity, think about that. Commodities, right? The price of commodities. That's, that's kind of what we're fighting over with Ukraine. Who owns it? Who controls it?
Yeah. Commodities being sort of,
oil, gas.
That makes sense too, because there's the wheat issue. There's of course, the oil and gas issue.
Especially
there's the diamonds issue.
For Russia.
With the sanctions. I'm going back to Sensanctional Joe.
Mm-hmm.
The sanctions are all on commodities,
right?
And the fact that he hasn't sanctioned the banking, so the financial tomfoolery, the sort of imaginary economy, economic based stuff is not sanctioned yet. But it's the commodities that are sanctioned, which messes with the economy more than anything else. I mean, that's like our economy should be commodity based.
It should
be.
And
that's the problem, is we've gotten away from that.
Right. And
this money based on real extant objects.
Right.
Versus
and this forces Russia to go back to that. They have to rely on their commodities to hold value for their currency. So that's it's very interesting when you start looking at it that way, because now it's like, oh, we get it. Now it's a commodities war. who owns what, who gets rights to distribute, what currency gets to, be the operative currency of this pipeline of or supply chain or whatever it might be. So let me continue here. A crisis of commodities is unfolding. Here, commodities are collateral, and collateral is money. And this crisis is about the rising allure of outside money over inside money. Bretton Woods II was built on inside money, and its foundations crumbled a week ago when the G7 seized Russia's FX reserves. Interesting. So yeah, and plus the
what's the FX? That's the foreign exchange reserves.
Yeah.
So it took all their dollars or something.
Yeah, if those Russian oligarchs if they were parking money on any Western financial instrument, it was all seized.
Yeah.
1st June, FRI OIS spreads can widen more to at least 50. What is this? Is this an advertisement or something?
I don't know what you're looking at.
We have 2 convictions today. Okay. Non-Russian commodities are more expensive due to the sanctions-driven supply shock that basically took Russian commodities offline. If you are a leveraged commodities trader, you need to borrow more from banks to buy commodities to move and sell them. What we're seeing is at a 50-year anniversary of the 1973 OPEC supply shock is something similar but substantially worse. The 2022 Russia supply shock, which isn't driven by the supplier but the consumer. The aggressor in the geopolitical arena is being punished by sanctions, and sanctions-driven commodity price moves threaten financial stability in the West. Is there enough collateral or for margin? Is there enough credit for margin? What happens to commodities future exchanges if players fail? Are CCPs bulletproof? The higher non-Russian commodity prices get and the lower Russian commodity prices fall. The wider FRAO. Okay, so it's very technical stuff here. But in general, it's fascinating to consider commodities being part of this reset of monetary policy around the world. And how does CBDCs play into this? How does Bitcoin play into this? Bitcoin is considered a commodity by some U.S. regulators, some U.S. institutions. Others, the IRS considers it property. But I think
an asset.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was, CFTC or the other. There's so many names, alphabet soup agencies out there. I can't remember all of them. But there's one that considers Bitcoin a commodity as well. So if that is the case, and we're sort of being forced into pegging back into commodities, or pegging the currencies back to real commodities, it makes sense that the governments, at least, and central banks that control those governments, are playing all of they're sort of hoarding everything, right? They're getting ready because there's a split happening, and also that changes around a lot of things, a lot of how day-to-day life persists. And that's part of the Great Reset. We're living through it, Basil.
Yeah,
we're living through this crazy reset of the entire world economy, reshifting. I was thinking of it this way. You know what a patch bay is, obviously, because you're a tech guy, Basil. But if you don't know what a patch bay is, basically, if you're a sound person or a video person, you have a bunch of inputs that go to the mixing board, and then you have cables that connect to other inputs that go to the microphones on the stage, and it's this little place,
like a relay.
Little relay place, and you can connect microphones on stage to whatever channel on the mixing board by patching. Connecting channel 1 on the stage to channel 3 on the mixing board, or whatever. So you have these physical cables that connect everything, that map out a stage. Similarly, you have the world trade supply chains of the world. It's like they're unplugging stuff, like big plugs, and replugging it somewhere else. Yeah. And it's messing with all of the rest of the world. We're kind of going, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And all the volatility, I think we're going to have a lot more bumpy volatility, craziness in the next year, 2 years, something like that.
And the thing that separates what's happening now from other little dips and whoopsie daisies, I mean, if you've been paying attention, you know that for a while now, the economy at large is mostly entirely artificial.
Yes.
From the price of goods to the value of property to the value of currency to the like you said, kind of like a stage setup, like a patch, a crazy spaghetti bowl of chords that are connecting values of currency with half a dozen other things to try to make it work. It's been almost entirely artificially propped up for very, very long time. Some would argue even since the 70s, but I think things worked pretty well for a little while. But especially in recent decades, after 2000, things got really squirrely. And I think that they've taken actions, drastic actions over the past couple decades to try to fix it. I mean, I think Bill Clinton's globalization initiatives that sort of connected the world together economically in a way that it hadn't been before. I think that was a step. You think of each of these big steps as like, oh, the whole thing's about to die. What do we need to do? Okay, we'll just globalize everything. Whew. That'll buy us a decade.
Right, and then they run out of room to globalize.
Right, and then it goes. Some even say that 9/11 was connected with this for a half a dozen different reasons.
Yeah,
and so again, another decade goes by. Oh my gosh! Okay, quick, do something. Oh, okay, we're okay. And then the housing bubble crisis in 2008, and now we have this where they're finally just like, okay, we'll print all the money we possibly can. We'll print 80% of all money that exists, and we'll cover it up by going to war. And then right when we're about to crash, we'll blame it on Putin, and then we'll switch everything around, and we'll build a new system. And then we can go for a while. So there's a way. There's a way of looking at this that is like,
they're doing the best they can.
Well, right.
I mean, given.
Consider yourself, if you were a sort of Rothschildian, lizard person elite who is responsible for much of the world's sort of economic well-being. You consider it a benevolent way, of course, because you don't consider yourself sort of a evil monster who. Whatever, you get it. And you're like, oh my gosh, yep, okay, guys, it's gonna happen again. We really got ourselves in a pickle this time. Okie dokie, let's pull the lever on the war. We'll do the pandemic. Yeah. We'll print a bunch of money and then do the old switcheroo, blame it on Putin. And then, either we'll have a new system or we'll adjust this system, something to just keep the world going. You would consider yourself some sort of superhero.
Oh, yeah. I think these people think that they are doing a service to the world.
Yeah.
By unplugging these particular patches and re-plugging it somewhere else and then banning whatever their the plan is.
It's so convenient that they can just blame it on one man.
They can blame it on one guy.
One man on Earth can cover their butts for this, huge, history of humanity shift. It's just too convenient. That's one of the things that's so crazy about this one thing where it's like the whole world is going to explode because one crazy guy, Putin. And it takes away all the attention from all the other causes of this, all the other people, all the other systems.
Yeah.
And they can reset it, blame it on Putin, and then hopefully keep things going. But you're right. Right now, it is a very strange time, and I do not want this to be lost on anybody. What is happening currently, today, as we are recording this, is a shift in the financial structure of the human species on a level that none of us have lived through before.
Yeah, it's always been isolated in pockets and nations, but this is the first time we have communication infrastructure worldwide. We have internet. There's different things going on now that make this time very, very interesting.
Yeah, and I mean this shift in the structure, this new world order. Again, I love it. Even the mainstream is using the language of like this new world order versus the old world order.
Yeah.
And we will destroy the old world order, which is Putin, and protect and bring about this new world order. And they don't just mean it metaphorically. They are literally talking about the way everything works. Right now is a crazy time to be alive.
Yeah. And, I had this big, long gold rant prepared that Basil kind of poo-pooed on, but I think before the show, by the way, so no emails, please. But the point I was trying to get to you, Basil.
I didn't poo-poo. I think there's a little bit more.
Well,
in there.
it was in the context of commodities, like gold being one of the commodities, and who knows, it might be kind of an SDR situation, a basket of commodities that creates a basis for a currency or whatever it might be. But I just wanted to show this chart here, central bank official gold net purchases. So this chart shows from 2002 to 2017, and between 2002 and 2009, it was a net negative. So central banks were selling their gold. 2008 crisis hits, 2009, the crisis, the aftermath. Right from that point on, central banks are net positive on purchases of gold. Yeah. So they've been buying more gold since that crisis, which some believe was kind of the unofficial reset, unofficial Bretton Woods 3. Hey, we're kind of shifting back into commodities, but we're not going to do it for a while because we got to roll out the pandemic and we got some stuff we got to build. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of what I was getting at.
There needs to be a catalyst. Yeah. And by the way, you cannot use those terms about me shutting you down. I did not poo-poo you. I asked a question that you did not have an answer to. But this all ties in. This all ties in with the CBDC thing,
right?
And my point, your point was that everything will switch back to commodities, and perhaps gold is a part of that. And I think that's true. But I think that's only true for the higher level economics. I don't think the dollar that you and I carry in our wallets will be connected in the same way that
we will be told.
Let me rephrase that. Yeah, it's not. We won't be holding the dollar.
No, we will be told that the U.S. dollar, especially in the form of a CBDC, will not be a true representation of the actual commodities.
What I mean. The CBDC is what they give to the peons. Those are our credits, our store credits.
Yeah, our Fed credits.
Our Fed credits, right. We'll get the Fed credits, which is centrally controlled and manipulated by the elites. But the sort of meta economics that we will never touch, the things, like a petrodollar. We don't have access to a petrodollar, But
see, the reason why I would say
hold on.
Go ahead.
So much in the same way, we'll be using the CBDC imaginary digital cryptocurrency that Biden's so excited about, but the meta commodities based economy will be what facilitates economics between elites and countries.
Sure. And you say there's nothing to do with each other. Is that what you're kind of arguing? Or
more or less. I mean, CBDC will have nothing to do with the international trade.
See, I think it would, only in the sense that even if it's illusory, because you can control, especially with CBDC, because you can take away money as quickly as you can give it to someone. Yeah.
You can program it.
You can program it to do things. Yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff.
You can make it so they can't spend it on things.
Right.
You get your CBDC from the government, and in the code of your CBDC will be, oh well, this guy, he can't buy guns with it or something.
Right. After profiling,
it's a control mechanism.
Yeah. So.
And those are not the things they're going to use to purchase commodities from wherever. We're not going to be buying wheat with CBDCs. We're going to be buying wheat with the commodity-backed dollar.
Right. Okay, yeah, I agree with you there, but I will also still say that psychologically, the supply of the dollar, the purchasing power of the CBDC will always be tied to the greater economic system. So. It doesn't matter if it's not
Why
literal.
Would they, though? Why would they tie it?
Because it's a great way to psychologically control everybody.
Well, I guess. I mean, I think the beauty about the CBDC, the thing they love about a government backed cryptocurrency, government issued cryptocurrency, is that they can just make it up as they go. They can set the value to whatever they want.
The current thing going.
Keep it totally separate from any real world thing, any commodity. They would not give that kind of power, because if you have a piece of money that is backed by a commodity, that's very powerful. You're very powerful as a citizen with that. And that's why, switching to the fiat money and now sort of fiat 2.0, a CBDC, it just takes more power away. There's less control. There's less you can do with it. And I don't think they want you or I to have access to a true commodity valued currency.
So you think they're going to ban people from having the ability to even purchase real commodities?
I think you'll have to be really smart, and you'll have to be really intentional. Like, I think
so. You're basically describing the rise of a technocracy.
Oh, is that what I'm doing?
I think that's what you're doing, because you have to be at a certain level of education to access.
You got to earn your access to the real money.
Yeah, it's the Elon Musk model. It's like, here's your Christ.
Exactly.
Here's your prototype of how you can climb the ladder here.
Yeah.
It'll
be the high level investors, the high level business people, the not the workers, not the people fixing the robots as the robots take over, who will have access to true value.
At the very least, we can say that you and I can 100% agree that this crisis is being used as a catalyst to invoke a CBDC US dollar, a digital currency US dollar, to become an actual viable part of whatever the Fed plans to do to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
So, but it comes at a cost, in terms of gas prices and whatever. So,
well, one way that we can exercise our power using our currency, Gonzo?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, let me tell you. It's called the value for value model, baby. Let's take a quick break.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
Whee! That's right, folks. Things might be in the most volatile financial situation perhaps in the history of humanity, but at least your favorite independent media does not take their paycheck from an advertising company. That's right. We have no advertisements, no affiliate codes, no partnerships with YouTube or Twitch or anything like that. No corporate money whatsoever. And that's good news, because with corporate money comes corporate interests. And we ain't got no advertising, marketing magician here telling us what we can or cannot talk about. We don't have to be brand friendly. We don't have to interact with the sort of web, the sticky web of international economics that is the power, the engine behind things like, big data collection and privacy concerns and all these things that are wrapped up in building a sort of cybernetic homunculus of you that is used by advertising agencies and companies and corporations to subtly manipulate you, to manipulate your psychology, to feed off of your wants and needs as a human being, to try to convince you that if only you paid another dollar, if only you bought another doodad, then finally you'd be happy and complete and fulfilled as a human being. And it's all based around using your psychology, using your own mind against you. And surely that studies have shown that people who consider themselves immune to advertising are the people who are the most affected by advertising. And that's why we don't do it here. We do not feel like it is right for Gonz and I to participate in an industry that makes a habit of purchasing the minds and the trust and the attention of people and selling it off to corporations for their own personal gain. So that's why we're on the value for value model. It's very simple. We create value when we put it out there. And if you get any value out of it, you can put some value back in. I mean, talk about a commodity-based ecosystem, Gonz. The show is a commodity. We're putting it out there, and whatever this show is worth is what comes back. And that's the only way that the show continues.
Yeah, create a crypto and peg it on the show.
Yes, well, it certainly wouldn't be the first person to want us to start a Canary Cry coin. But yeah, so that's how we do it. The value for value model, baby. And for those who recognize that this system is revolutionary, those who recognize that it's a way to disconnect not just your pocketbook, but also your mind from the system of advertising, which considers your brain and your attention to be sort of it's like a mine. It's like a farm, and they farm your attention and then sell it off.
Like
but
DeFi.
not here. Yeah, I mean, think of all the media that you partake in that advertises to you. That is them considering your brain a commodity to be harvested and sold off. I mean, that is what it is, and we don't do
Revelation
it here.
18, man. These merchants traded the souls of men. You can suggest it's the minds.
That's advertising, man, and some people don't quite get it yet, and that's okay. I know someday you will get it. And when it comes to this show, we don't do that. We don't sell your mind. We don't sell your attention. But if you get value out of what we do, it's your responsibility. It's a personal responsibility to keep this show going. And the people who take that responsibility and realize how much of a rebellion against exactly what we're talking about is, they support the show. And they're called producers because that's what they do. They're producing the show. And we like to thank them here because they're the only reason that any of us get to do this fun thing, whether we're listening or we're talking on the show. And if you're out there and, supporting the show financially is not in the cards, it's one thing to just not care and just know that somebody else will produce the show. There are times, there's cycles in this value for value system where more people think that than other times. And those are hard times. But when we get it really in our hearts and our souls that the things that are, committed to not abusing us like other things, media specifically I'm talking about, but it could be anything. It could be, any business or anything. Some of them abuse us and some of them don't. And we have to decide, do we want to continue participating in an economy that abuses us? And so, anywho, the people who produce the show are people who realize that this is not just the show is worth keeping going, but there is something revolutionary and transformative about participating in value for value. And we'll thank them now. There's a couple ways to do it. You can head on over to patreon.com/CCNT, but even better, you should head on over to CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
I do want to say, Shouting at Clouds says in the chat, Basil, you said people are commodities. That sounds like slavery. Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? Shouting at Clouds. If a piece of media is considering you to be a commodity where they can, harvest your brain and your trust and your attention, they are considering you a commodity. But not here. We do not do that. That is not the way that we keep the show going. So, again, it's a personal responsibility. Do you want to be a commodity or do you want to break free from being a commodity? And it's like you said, Shouting at Clouds says, sounds like slavery. Yeah, a lot of people would put it that way. And, if you have a chance to escape, you might as well do it. All right. So over there at CanaryCry.Radio.com/support, there's all sorts of ways to support the show. You can do it with your cryptocurrency. If you're already outside of the normal fiat system, you'll see all of our crypto wallets there, or public wallets rather. But you can also sign up for a monthly producership if you want to commit to keeping the show going. It's fast, it's easy, it's a set it and forget it. We're so grateful to our monthly producers because on slower production times, it's those monthly producers that really drag us over the finish line some months, and we really appreciate that. But if commitment's not your thing, you can come in with a one-time producership in any amount. Gonz, who are we thanking today?
Well, we don't have any supply droppers, but we're going to start off with thanking our executive producer, Sigurd the Beast.
Yay! Thank you very much. Sigurd the Beast comes in with $110. And he has a note here. It was referring to something that was happening on Twitter. He said, sorry about the troll earlier. It was just much more fun drawing them in a bit first by acting serious than publicly ignoring them as they get more and more desperate for attention. Yes, Sir Sigra and I encountered a troll together on Twitter. And you know me, Gonz. You know me. I like to have fun with them, but I thought to myself, it was happening before the show while we were working, and it was distracting me from getting the show ready. So I shut it down early.
Okay, good. I was going to say, you were telling me to stay focused and yelling.
No, I know. I noticed.
What are you doing over there,
you post you post the do not feed the troll sign once, and then he comes back and you do it again and you do it again, and then I was like, wait, I can't do this. Okay, bye. I just blocked him. So anyways, thank you, Sir Sigra the Beast. Always fun seeing you on Twitter there. And thank you for being the executive producer.
That's right.
Where'd you find this?
Okay.
No supply droppers. Do you want to mention it?
Yes, if you could play the jingle, that'd be great. CanaryCry.Supply.com is a very special group of monthly producers that come in to support the show for $33.33 a month. In return, well, not in return, but as a free gift, they will receive 4 supply drops a year. That's one per quarter, where we are busy creating all sorts of super cool Canary Cry themed. Not just, I don't even know the right word for it. It's not merch. It's not swag. It's a combination of revolutionary items. It's got survival gear. It's got apparel and accessories. It's got signaling materials. It's got we even created a custom podcast companion ARG, augmented reality game that you're going to enjoy very much. But Gonz you've been getting closer and closer to creating some very cool digital assets, huh?
Yeah.
We're so close.
We're close.
We're so close.
The methodology is all there. The art needs a little work. I might be messaging some of the artists for some potential suggestions or some help.
The point is that there are big things happening that we also want to include supply droppers in. So if you missed the cutoff for the first supply drop, do not fret. You should sign up anywho, because every month that you're signed up, there will be digital assets being dropped out to our supply
non-copyable. You can't cut and paste these digital things that are.
It's going to be cool
there.
if that's something you're into. But another reason to be a supply dropper. So there you go. Go to CanaryCry.Supply.com, please, and thank you.
All right, we got more producers to thank.
Yes.
And these are, well, let's just do this. First up, Senjess.
Thank you very much, Senjess.
Senjess comes in with snail mail.
Snail mail.
Yeah, it's funny. The snail mailers really saved us this episode.
It's unreal. Okay, so I got
without the snail mailers, we would have been in big trouble.
Yeah, so I have a note here. And it says, Baz and Gonz, every time Baz talks about the mass exodus from Patreon, I have guilt right where it hurts, in my heart. Cries.
Oh, no.
My credit card expired, and I did the lazy thing, which was nothing. The verb.
I get it.
I hope this cold, hard cash gets me back in the good books. Why do I feel like I'm bribing Santa? And yes, there's I think it's 6 $10 bills.
Yay.
In here. So
thank you, Senjess.
Anyway, I wanted to thank you both for existing, because without you, there would be no Canary Cry community. And without CCC, I would not have met Cool Runningsmon. Here are some wedding photos for the shoebox of sentimental items, or you could do whatever with.
Yeah.
Which, yes, I have some of the pictures here.
I do want one of those.
Parenthetical, what I don't know won't hurt me. Yes. Please play Bitcoin Go to Moon, Chaz Stanks, and the crypto jingles. Whoa, I totally forgot about this. This part of the request.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be a while. I might have to have Basil take over while I compile those towards the end.
I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you have the other snail mails.
I know.
So
let me. Do you want me to do those first, or do you want to?
No. Why don't you do that? And I'll thank some people who have come on over here.
Okay.
I want to thank our next producer, One Lousy Petunia.
Ooh.
One Lousy Petunia, which I will put into the document here. Thank you very much. One Lousy Petunia came in as a nice sort of solid round number. And for those who don't know, we lean towards anonymity at all times, and that includes the amount of producership, unless you signal us with some sort of funky number. If your number is ends on a 5 or a 10, we usually keep that anonymous. But if you don't mind us reading, put a funky number in there. The common version is to put 33 cents on something, or some people do Bible verses, stuff like that. But thank you very much, One Lousy Petunia, for producing the show. Next up.
Thank you.
Ooh, this one's great. Okay. There are some last minute ones I'm going through here.
Okay.
Next up, we got Maureen M. Maureen M comes in, supports the show. Thank you very much. Maureen M comes in with $80.40.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you.
I should probably see what the math works out on that. Excuse me. Sorry. And Maureen M has a note, and the note reads like this. Diligent excellence. Thoughtful and insightful. Good show, as always. Can I get a COVID-19? Love you guys. God bless. Oh, and the 80/40 was 77.77 plus fees. Yeah, there you go. Fanny pack full of sevens. Thank you very much, Maureen.
It's Corona time. COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19.
COVID-19.
Yes. COVID-19. COVID-19.
Coronavirus.
All
Thank
right,
you very much.
I got this ready from for SENSANCTIONAL here.
Okay.
So here we go. All right, jingles. Here we go.
Bitcoin, go to moon. Get in the zone.
Capitol Hill Auto Zone.
Chaz stinks.
Is this a crypto? Do I look like I know what a crypto is?
Blockchain.
There you go.
What a great collection. You can tell that that Senjess and Cool Runningsman are old timers, because some of those jingles we have not played for a while.
Yeah, that Chaz one too. Chaz. Thanks.
Yeah, that was some old school 2020 news.
20 throwback. Okay, so you got a couple new ones in here?
No, I already read I'm just updating our document. So do more snail mail.
Okay, so we had another snail mailer here from Lisa, Rebel, and Missy. Ooh. And thank you very much. And we have a note, March 5th. I just received my calendar. So excited. Yay. Hope you are having a blessed weekend. Lost my sweet cat, Alexa, December 1st after a huge surgery. My place was so empty, only waited a few days and adopted Rebel.
Ooh.
She is a bit of a wild child. And just the other day, my vet called, quote, "Would you like another kitty?" Sure.
Ooh.
So now
your vet offered you a kitty?
So now my very small place has 2 cats. Pray, LOL. Take care, guys. God bless. Lisa, Rebel, and Missy. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lisa, Rebel, and Missy.
And she has a I don't know. It's a rounded number bill.
Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
Like it. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And, I already pressed that one, but here we go. We got one more snail mail.
Okay.
From Stephanie. StephPud82. And she has a note. StephPud82 here, and I'm writing to you because recently I was called out on the show as almost being a mooch by Cool Runningsmon.
Uh-oh.
But instead was blessed by him and his better half by being demooched on their dime. I cannot in good conscience let that go unthanked and without paying it forward, since along with some other fellow producers, Canarians, they collaborated so very lovingly and secretly to throw me a Canary Cry baby shower.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
They provided taco fixins, balloons, gifts, including handmade ones, and fellowship straight to our front door as the others joined via video call. It was one of the sweetest things I've ever had done for me. Your podcast/ministry has impacted our lives in such an incredibly wonderful way. On behalf of new baby Josephine, Ebony Blaze, Cool Runningsmon, and beautiful wife, the first CCNT marriage, mom with sword and shield, Amanda P., and another CCNT friend who goes by Victoria, I dedicate this producership to be put in their names. I'm also including a couple of humble gifts for each of you guys, in which, she gave us these cool pins. Uh-oh, what did I do with them? Did I lose them?
Uh-oh.
I might have forgotten it downstairs, but, oh, no, I think this is it here. Here we go. Hold on. Yeah, we got these, well, it's not a pin. It's like a keychain with Think Outside the Cage and the bird logo on a little chain here.
Oh, very cool. Gosh.
Yeah.
Wow, so, how sweet is that?
Very cool. Thank you so much. And
you had a Canary Cry wedding, a Canary Cry baby shower, Canary Cry Bigfoot hunt.
The rest of the note here, you guys deserve it for your faithfulness to the Lord and to your listeners. And as always, we are praying for you both. Blessings from your sister in Christ, Stephanie. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie, and thank you everybody else who has been such a positive part of the community. And my gosh, through this very cool Canary Cry baby shower. That is so sweet. I wonder if there's any pictures that exist. But okay.
We need to get those Canary Cry onesies.
Snail mail day.
Yeah.
Oh, the tweet hungry boy onesies. Well, all right. I hope supply droppers all have babies, because there's going to be some.
And if you don't,
some baby onesies. Canary, it's going to be the tweet hungry boy
be
onesie.
Be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah,
everybody.
Maybe it'll inspire you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Steph Pud.
Thank you. I don't know what's happening in this document, so
I'm just updating it.
Okay.
We had another producer here, Nick M, came in for 2020.
Thank you, Nick M.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
all right. Now we're back up to date.
Okay.
Start at the one after Steph Bud.
Okay. Puddin22.
Whee! Puddin22 is back, coming in with 11 plus fees. And note here, it's Friday, my dude.
It's Friday.
Keep playing with the Friday thing. My owner and I are catting around the Tennessee Smoky Mountains this week. Hope all is well with y'all. Sorry about your father-in-law, Gonz. Prayers for your family. Blessings for a perfect weekend. Puddin22. Thank you very, very, very much, Puddin22.
Thank you very much.
Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow.
Yes, whatever you said.
It's a secret message for Puddin22.
Sure. Next up, we have Morv.
Morv is on a 63-episode streak. Coming in for 11 and 11. Said it how they would have said it in the Bible. 11 and an 11. Happy Friday, brothers. Lifting up the Shamuras in my prayers. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Thank you, Morv.
Thanks, Morv. Appreciate that. Ooh, there we go. Next up, we have Jason P.
Jason P. comes in with 11. Thank you very much, Jason P.
Thank you, Jason P. Appreciate it. Next up, we have Sir JC, Knight of the Techno Squatch.
Oh my gosh, he's back. Sir JC, Knight of the Techno Squatch, is on a 78-episode streak.
1001. Amen.
That's right, the 1001. It's Friday, day.
It's Friday, day.
Keep playing with the Friday thing. Hope all the Canarians have a restful weekend. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Sir JC.
Thank you, Sir JC.
Techno Squatch.
Next up, we have Palmer B.
Palmer B is on a 32 episode streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule 1001. Amen.
That's right. Coming in with the 1001. One more episode until Palmer B reaches Illuminati Lizard Master Chill or whatever it's called. I forget.
Yeah.
Howdy, boys.
Every time you say that, somebody's about to have like a streak thing. I picture Nancy Pelosi rubbing her claws together.
Yes. Did you hear the analysis of her little claw rubbing at the SO2?
No.
There's I don't know. It's like some really deep old school, like good old school conspiracy theory stuff where that thing where she was rubbing her fists together. I guess was like a sign language for wet or water.
Oh, wet work stuff. Yeah, like murdering people. Yeah.
So there was a theory that she was signaling an assassination or something. Howdy, boys. Do you each have a favorite board or card game? Much love, Palmer B.
Yeah. Do you have one? I got one. So
let me hear yours.
This is one that as a child or adolescent, this is before the time of cell phones. I went to a lot of swim meets. We're sitting around a lot with other kids our age, and there's not much to do until we swim. Played a lot of card games and board games and stuff. The one that I remember being most competitive over is Yahtzee. Yeah, I don't know why, but there you go.
Yeah,
that's mine.
Well, there you go. He's very competitive over. I never got into Yahtzee. I didn't really like it. It's like, okay, I roll the dice. Okay, I just do it again. Okay, did I win? No. Okay. But
you just don't understand the implications of each roll.
No, there's not a whole lot.
You must find the number. You got to land on the number to fit in the thing.
Yes, right.
Okay, so what's yours?
I've actually not talked about this much, but I've gotten really into the sort of renaissance of board gaming that's happened over the past 5-10 years. There's really has been a whole industry of independent board games, not just independent, but also, just a complete renaissance of the board game industry that I've been pretty into. In fact, I'm not going to give too much details, but I have fibbed my way in to some industry level board game events that I was not supposed to be at, which was actually kind of fun. I walked out the door with like $500 worth of board games. So it's really hard to pick a favorite. Shoot, what is it? Yeah, okay, here's a simple one that I really do like, and this isn't the most indie one, but one that I do bust out often is a game called Coup. It's just a very simple card game. It comes with a very small deck of cards. There's only like 18 cards in it or something. And it's kind of like a game of, it's just like a social deception game where basically the story is you are like a courtesan in some super futuristic empire or kingdom or something. And you use your influence over the court to get rid of your enemies and stuff. It's fun. Check it out.
I just remembered another game that we played called BS. Do you remember BS?
Yeah, yes. So BS is sort of one of the proto. They're called social deception games.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a similar theme to BS.
Right.
Only,
okay.
Yeah, just cooler. And more beautiful. So there you go. There's a tip. And of course, yes, I was going to say Catan. Everybody loves Catan, but that's so passé now. Just kidding. It's a great game. So there you go. Thank you very much, Palmer B.
Thank you, Palmer B. Next up, we have Malik W.
Malik W is back on a streak, 2 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Malik W. And then we have Sir Scott, Knight of Truth.
Sir Scott, Knight of Truth on a 118 episode streak.
How come it didn't play?
Cool.
There it goes. Stream Deck having a little laggy thing going on here.
Strange. Yeah. Sir Scott comes in with a pocket full of 7s. Thank you, Sir Scott.
Thank you very much.
And I believe that completes our list of producers who have come in. Oh, hold on. Sir Scott does say Happy Friday, everyone. Sorry. note almost didn't make it in there.
It's Friday.
Keep playing with the Friday thing. Okay, that concludes our list of producers who have produced the show in the amount of 777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We got a few more who came under that amount, which I will thank now, starting with Sir James, Knight and Servant of the Line of Judah, coming in on a 63-episode streak.
Thank you, Sir James.
Yes. Next up, we've got Sir Casey, the Shield Knight, on a 128-episode streak. My goodness.
Epic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we were just talking before the show. Sir Casey obviously has the highest streak, but has also never broken a streak since we started counting streaks. And I was surprised that
he is our streak counter.
He is the streak counter. Yeah.
Wow.
So that means we've been counting streaks for 28 episodes now, which is only 42 weeks worth of shows. So we've been counting streaks for less than a year. It seems like something that we've been doing forever, but there's like a year and a half of the pandemic where we weren't counting streaks. Can you believe it?
Wow. Crazy.
I know. Seems like so weird to me.
Yeah, that is
all
weird.
Right, next up we got Jackie U on a 35-episode streak.
Thank you, Jackie U.
Next we got Gail M
streak.
on a
streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
They do.
Now we got the Streak Sisters, starting with Gail M on a 94-episode streak.
Women rule!
And the second Streak Sister, Veronica D, on a 94-episode streak.
Women rule!
Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Veronica. Oh, they're getting close to 100.
I know. I remember when Gail and Veronica just started streaking.
That's so crazy.
It's really crazy.
Yeah, that is wild.
Quite a few months. Okay.
That's a lot of episodes.
Next up, 64-episode streak for Doctor Who Done That.
Doctor Who Done That. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, good doctor. I feel like we could probably afford to shorten that jingle. Last but not least, we've got Runk Smash on a 7-episode streak.
Thank you, Runk Smash.
And that concludes our financial producers for today. Thank you guys very much. It's the only way the show keeps going, and it truly is a revolution as far as how we think of each other as human beings and how we think of independent media. The value for value system is really blows my mind the more I sit and think about it. The implications, both financially, spiritually, and just for the good of humanity. It may sound like a lot, like I'm getting deeper than it really is, but honestly, I can't stop thinking about it. It's crazy and very grateful. So thank you all. And other than that, thank you for your patronage.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
See, I waited.
Good job. Yeah, you waited.
If you go to CanaryCry.Newstalk.com, you will see a green tab on the right-hand side. If you click that tab, then now when I say it's on the right-hand side of the page, I mean it's like literally on the right wall of the page, sticking out. It's not you get it. You'll see it. Click on that and you can leave us a voice message. It's super cool. You can give a shout out to a listener or thank a producer, leave your own report, whatever. I had a dream last night that we logged into the SpeakPipe and we had like 50 Canary Cry boots on the ground reporters.
Was it a dream or a vision of the future?
I hope it's a vision because I would love to get more, user generated content, some more boots on the ground Canary Cry reporters. There's not been a lot recently, but that's okay. Just saying, had a dream. Maybe that's what somebody needed to hear out there to feel compelled to report. So
we're not getting much, but we are getting quality over quantity because this first message comes from Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Hey there, Gonz and Basil. This is none other than the Macho Man Randy Savage coming to you live to tape. Oh, yeah. Just wanted to go ahead and give a little shout out to you guys and remind you the Bible says that you're not supposed to combine two different kinds of seed in the field. Oh, no, it's a bad thing. And the Bible also reminds us not to go ahead and make two different kinds of animals. You see, that's bad. It's bad when we combine things like that. You know what else is really bad that you combined it? The Wednesday jingles. You shouldn't combine the Wednesday jingles because you know what? In the heart of the good Lord above us and in the heart of the Macho Man, it will always be forever Wednesday, my dudes.
That was doing Slim Jim.
Wow. Well, that might be the first biblical sort of argument we've heard to keep the old Wednesday
argument.
jingle.
It's a solid argument coming from Macho Man Randy Savage. I have to take that into consideration. I don't know if I can combine the two now. It is definitely mixing kinds.
I'm honored that he weighed in for us.
It's the best argument we've heard so far.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Our second voice message comes from Elon Musk. Really?
Oh, about time he weighed in.
Yes. Hello. This is Elon. Haha. I'm calling to leave a message for the dudes at Canary Cry News Talk. It's quite a nice show. It's quite nice. Quite fascinating. One thing I would like to know, though, Gonz and Basil, is where are the aliens? Where are they? If you could tell me, that would be great. Send Bitcoin and I'll send you 10 times. Thank you. And think outside the cage.
That was a very good Elon.
You know what's funny? I'm listening to it. Obviously, it's hilarious. Thank you, Elon. I'm trying to pull a picture up of Elon on, in our visual thing here. And I pull up this picture and it's this gigantic picture of Elon. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what is this? And I realized, it's zoomed in to Elon's head or something. So for those of you watching, you're welcome. A very close look at Elon's face.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you very much, Elon. He liked to haha.
Very good. Yeah, that was good.
Oh man, where are the aliens indeed? Thank you, Elon, for leaving us a message.
We got one more from Mr. Magoo. So here we go.
Basil and Gonz. This is a song dedicated to Magoo's favorite animal. I am a hippopotamus, from my top to my very bottomness, from my big fat hippo nose to my 3 little hippo toes. I weigh so much, so very, very much, that I float is quite a miracle. I am so round, so very, very round, you could almost call me spherical. There's no sense in remaining anonymous. I'm a very, very happy hippopotamus.
Right, halfway.
Bum, 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 bum.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay. Is that the end?
No, there's more. You want to hear?
Okay, yeah, let's play.
I weigh so much, so very, very much, that I float is.
I think we're repeating choruses now.
I am so round, so very, very round, you could almost call me spherical.
Oh, it is.
There's no sense in remaining anonymous.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Magoo. Fun song. Let's, well, maybe he meant for it to be like a sing-along. If you want it to be a sing-along, you got to send the lyrics. That'd be very helpful. But also, thank you very much. Very talented singer there, Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Appreciate that. What else? I think that's
Is that all? I think that's it. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for leaving the voice messages. Again, go to CanaryCry.Newstalk.com. Right-hand side of the page, it'll be a big old green unsightly tab that says leave us an audio message. Do it.
Are we saying bye to YouTubers?
Yes, well, let's give them a warning here, YouTubers. We are going to be cutting off the show because everything that follows will be too hot for YouTube. And Susan, we don't want to make Susan blush. So make sure to head on over to one of our other outlets. You can find them all at CanaryCry.Party. But you know them. It's Twitch, DLive, Rumble, Twitter, I don't know, all the other ones. You get it. You know, the other ones. Okay, let's go.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Get out of here.
YouTube.
Now you
Go
see
on.
me. Now you don't.
Go on. Get out of here, YouTube. Okay.
You done?
Yeah,
We're
I'm
done.
done.
Okay.
Okay.